So as we're here, let's all just take a moment to tune our breath in together. So wherever you are, finish that round of breath. Let's take an inhale for 3, 2, 1. A gentle hold. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Just repeating that process. Inhaling slowly and smoothly, trying to fill up that low back area, that root chakra. Exhaling. You can practice this with an inhale through the mouth, through the nose, and an exhale out the mouth. Inhaling through the nose for 3, 2, 1. Exhaling out the mouth. Wherever you are, finishing that last breath. Now just taking it into a gentle side bend from our child's pose. So with our hands and fingers stretching out long, let's walk our hands over to our left side. Placing the right hand down, stack the left hand on top of the right. Drop the forehead back down, trying to stretch that right hip away from the fingertips. So reaching the right fingertips, dropping the right hip, still breathing deeply into that low back, but feeling the stretch primarily on the right side. Still finding those long, smooth breaths. Let's take one more round of breath here, nice and slow. And slowly walking the fingertips back through the center. Make your way to the other side. So fingertips to the right, left hand plants, right hand stacks on top. Stretching that left hip away from the fingertips. Now focusing that breath along your left channel through the left hip, left side, left ribs, left armpit, all the way to those left fingertips. And we'll just take this moment to introduce our mantra for this class. As we're working on feeling that sense of abundance, let's start to tap into that sense of abundance that lives in our own body, just all that our body offers us. So we'll keep this with us throughout the practice, and that phrase, that mantra, is I am at home in my body. Start to walk back towards the center. One last moment in child's pose. Just letting the hips really get heavy, sink back. Beautiful. And with your next inhale, let's rise up to hands and knees. Make sure we've got the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and beginning some gentle cat-cows. As you inhale, drop the belly, shoulders back, chest open. As you exhale, curl the spine, belly hugs in, gaze drops. Now just start to ride your own breath here. Inhaling forward, exhaling down. And our goal in this class is to really move slowly, to tap into that feeling of stability and foundation. So really pressing into your fingertips, reaching through your spine, trying to ride that inhale forward, and exhale back. Taking one last round at your own pace. Inhaling, widening the chest and collarbone. Exhaling around. We're at about an inch or two. And just starting to make some really big hip circles. So dropping the hips back towards your right heel, shifting towards the left heel. Then coming forward, let the hips drop, working on the front of the hips now. Just let them drop where they land, or sending the hips back for another big circle. And now once you've got this, you can start to close your eyes or drop your gaze between the hands. And just start to roll through these hips, just waking up that root chakra, working into whatever space is in our hips today. Next time you come back towards the heels, let's move the other direction, coming forward and back around, just feeling into your range of motions, no pressure. Again, keeping in mind that mantra of I am at home in my body. Let's go for one more round, riding that breath all the way around. Beautiful. And that next time you come forward, coming back up to tabletop, so hands and knees. We're gonna move into our first downward facing dog. So we'll curl your toes underneath the heels. Take an inhale, exhale, really press into the hands, ascend the hips high and back. Just taking a moment to walk out your heels. You can drop one heel at a time. Drop that gaze in between the hands, looking back towards your toes. Trying to soften those ears away from the shoulders, shoulders away from the ears. And with your next inhale, let's gaze in between our hands, looking forward, coming up to the balls of the feet. Exhale, bend the knees, and just start to take some steps to walk forward to the front of the mat. Hands at the front of the mat. With an exhale, let's just release here for forward fold. And inhale, halfway lift. So flattening out the spine, lifting halfway. Hands slide up the shins. Exhale, fold forward. This next inhale, open the arms wide like wings with a flat spine. Let's rise all the way up. At the front of the mat, hands come overhead. And exhale, hands meet and come down through our midline, coming home to the heart. Let's close the eyes here. And this is another opportunity to really ground into our foundation. So finding your feet, finding all four corners of the feet. With your eyes closed, just finding that trust in your body that it knows where that balance is. As you root down through the feet, really let your body feel heavy here. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Let the bones of your feet settle into the earth. And finding that mantra, I am at home in my body. And moving into our first flow, Surya Namaskar B. Take an inhale to lift the hands high, reaching up. Exhale, keep the hands high, but bend the knees, sit back for chair, Utkatasana. So we're sitting those hips nice and low, but finding a nice flat spine, reaching it up. Exhale, hands to the heart, dive forward for your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, finding plank, nice flat spine, reaching through the crown of your head. Let's exhale, elbows hug in, lower to the knees first, or all the way down for chaturanga. Inhaling to open the heart, upward facing dog. And exhale, rolling over the feet, hips high, downward facing dog. So we'll repeat that a few times, bringing some warmth into the body. Inhale, gaze forward, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees. And take as many steps as you need to come forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, melt that heart towards the legs. Inhale, coming all the way up, reaching the arms high. Hands meet overhead, and exhale, home to the heart. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, hips low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Really grounding into the base of your feet. One more inhale to sit tall, and exhale, hands to the heart as you dive forward, melting the heart. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant those hands, step back through your plank. And your choice here, either knees, chest, chin, or elbows bend as you come to 90 degrees, and then inhale, rolling over the feet, upward facing dog. Exhale as you're ready, downward facing dog. So staying here in your down dog for just a moment. And finding that stillness, finding even here with your hips high, that root chakra. Can you tune into it? Send the breath there and feel maybe a little more space being created around the sacrum, the low back, the inner and outer hips. Now with your next inhale, left leg will reach high and back. Now exhale, bend that top knee and open that top hip towards the sky. Almost as if you're reaching this top heel towards your right butt cheek. At the same time as your left knee is lifting high, keep pressing the hands down. Let the head be heavy. Next inhale, reach that leg high and back, hip turns down. Exhale, let's sweep the left knee in towards the chest, stepping all the way through, dropping the right knee for a low lunge. So left knee forward, right knee back, low lunge, meeting us here. Now, if you're happy today here, you can just stay with hands on the mat, dropping the hips, or you can come with us, inhaling, arms high. Exhale, dropping those hips, really feeling into the front of your hip, letting it get nice and heavy. Now, staying here, we'll add a little side bend. So inhale, reaching up through the fingertips, and bring the hands together, interlace the fingers except for the thumb and the index, the pointer and the index. So inhale, reaching up. Exhale, diving over towards your left. So opening those right ribs. Inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Lift that back knee, then step the front foot back, finding plank pose. Taking an inhale in your plank, exhale, knees, chest, chin, or all the way through your chaturanga. Inhale, opening the heart, and exhale, downward facing dog. This time lifting your right leg high and back, stretching it into three-legged downward dog. Exhale, bend that top knee, open the top hip, reaching your toes towards that opposite hip. At the same time, trying to square off the shoulders, so rolling your right shoulder down. Breathing into that right hip flexor. And inhale, reaching back up, turn that right hip back to neutral. Then exhale, hug the right knee in towards your chest as we shift forward and step that right foot in between the hands, lowering the back. Great job. Either staying here, or really dropping into that sense of stability, trusting your mat. Hips are low. Either hands down, or let's lift the arms. Low lunge, interlacing the fingers except the thumb and the pointer. Let's reach, reach, reach. And exhale, dive towards your right, expanding through the left side. Now feeling that long line of energy all the way from the left knee, through that left hip, left side, left armpit, left fingertips. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, hands down. Framing the front foot, let's lift that back knee and step both feet back, finding your plank. One more vinyasa. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, meeting us back in downward facing. Taking a moment here to close the eyes once again. Let's find our way back to that base. I am at home in my body. This body is my home. Now, with that next inhale, lifting the left leg once again. This time we're stepping it all the way through. Left knee comes forward. Finding a high lunge. So back knee is lifted, arms come up, finding a tall spine. We'll find that same side bend here. So interlacing the fingers, thumb and index point. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, diving to your left side, extending through your right. Really sending energy through that back leg, pressing through the right foot. Strong right leg. Inhale to come up. Then exhale, spiral that back heel in so you open up into warrior two. Front knee is deeply bent. Arms come out to your side, feeling that abundance. I'll flip around so I can face you. Over here with the left leg forward. Take an inhale, lift the arms high. And exhale, keep the arms high as we straighten the front leg. Now exhale, hands come to our hips. Moving into Trikonasana here. So keep your back hand on your back hip. Let's reach the front arm forward, gaze over your fingertips. Take an inhale, start to lean and reach towards the front of your mat, towards that front foot. Reach until you feel all that side length on the back side, back hip. Then exhale, drop that top hand towards the front ankle, or even a block can come in handy here. And once you found that sweet spot, let's extend this top arm all the way up towards the sky. Breathing all that abundance of space and air across the chest, into the ribs. And last little piece, exhale, let's reach the top arm overhead, extending that side stretch. Beautiful job. Inhale, windmilling the arms all the way up. Let's start to gaze forward. And exhale, warrior two, one more time, deeply bending into that front knee. This time, flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. So reaching the back hand down the back side of the legs, front arm reaches up and over. Next, exhale, spiraling down, picking up your back foot, spiraling onto the ball of the foot, back towards our lunge, and then sending that foot back through your vinyasa plank to exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale back to downward facing dog. I'll take a moment to breathe here in our down dog. Beautiful job. Take these moments of rest to tune back into your breath. Tune back into your body, and especially those lower extremities, the lower half of our body. So feeling that chain of connection from your low back, low spine, through the hips, the outer hips, the pelvis, down through the bones and muscles of your thighs, your knees, the calves, ankles, all the way down to those feet that support it all every day. Now taking that next side, as you're ready, inhale, reach the right leg back. Exhale, knee to nose, bringing it all the way through, stepping it in between the hands. Inhale, coming up for your high lunge. And always meeting yourself where you are. You can stay here and drop the hips, or take our little mudra, interlacing all the fingers but the thumb and the index, pointing that up as you inhale. Exhale, diving up and over to your right side. So almost as if you're curling over a big beach ball onto the side. Creating a little half moon with the upper body, opening that left side rib cage. Next, inhale, come back through center. Heart is open. Exhale, let's open the arms. Come into your warrior two, spiraling that back heel in. So your front heel is intersecting with the back arch, back toes pointing to the edge of your mat. Arms reaching wide, spreading the heart open. As you're ready, we're moving into that Trikonasana pose. So inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, press into the front foot, straighten the leg. Then lower the hands to the hips. So keeping nice hip stability here. We don't want them swaying too hard to either side, just keeping them nice and even. Let's reach our front arm forward, flip the palm up, and then begin to lean and reach like you're serving up a platter of abundance to yourself. Reaching it as far as you are comfortable with, feeling that strength and stretch at the same time of your backside. As you're ready, lower that front hand, fingertips to wherever it lands. It might be the shin, it might be towards the knee, it may be a block, or it may be all the way to your mat. So just feel where that is today. Once you find that, press into your foundation, roll the heart open, bring that top arm straight up, creating this long line of energy. Breathing deep. Feel that power through the feet, moving up the channel of the legs, all the way into that root, your base. That's keeping you stable here. Next, exhale, let's bring the top arm up and over, so alongside your top ear, reaching towards the front of your mat. And next, inhale, weave it all back up. Arms come wide, and exhale, drop the front knee one more time. Big inhale into the heart. And exhale, drop the hands to the hips, come up to straight legs. This time we'll turn both our toes to the side of the mat. So we're taking a wide stance here. Feet are parallel. Might flip, to the way that you can see the screen here. So with our hands on our hips, let's roll the shoulders up and back. Really root down into all four corners of the feet here. Taking that inhale through the chest, exhale, forward fold. Let's take the hips back as you slowly find your way to bring your chest down towards the floor. That's where, again, these blocks can come in handy. If you're not quite reaching the floor today, that is perfectly okay. It's not about how far we go, but really just about tapping into that energy that this shape is giving us, tapping into these different parts of the body that activate in this stretch. So here, really pressing down into your feet to widen the hips behind you. And you can always stay lifted here with a flat back, or you can start to bend your hands and bring the forehead towards the floor or to your block or wherever it lands. Just releasing the spine. Taking 2 deep breaths here, inhaling through the nose. Let's exhale to sigh it out. Exhale. Next inhale, we will come back to fingertips or block, finding that flat, strong, straight spine. Let's start to gently bend your knees, just enough to inhale, float those arms up like wings and send the spine all the way up. Arms reach wide and overhead. Fingertips meet and exhale down through the midline, bringing the hands home to center, to the heart. Closing the eyes for one breath in, one breath out. This time, let's drop the hands. Taking goddess squats, we'll move the toes slightly outward, so externally rotating the ankles and feet. Heels are slightly in. Taking a big wide inhale, reach overhead. And as we exhale, knees come wide, squatting down, hands to come down to your thighs. And really try to sink down into this squat. Ideally, we should have the knees stacked right over the ankles. So if your ankles are somewhat wider or more narrow, just trying to line them up right underneath your knees. And here we can do a little bit of resistance, pressing the hands into the thighs to really extend the spine up. And taking a twist here, inhale to center. Exhale, drop your left shoulder down, look over your right, really pressing into that left leg. Inhale, roll through center, and just other side. Exhale, right shoulder down. One breath each, so inhale to center. Great job. Exhale, left shoulder down. And one more time on the other side, back to center. Exhale down. You may be feeling a little warmth in the hips at this point. That is good. We're firing up that root chakra. Let's come back to center. And if you can always come up out of the squat a bit. We're gonna inhale the arms up, wide and overhead. Exhale, lifting the legs, straightening the legs out, dropping the hands. And then just shaking it out. We'll start to step legs back together and come to the front of our mats. At this point, if you need a quick sip of water before we start to wind down towards the floor, you can take that here. So coming to the front of our mats as you're ready. Just one simple vinyasa to get us down to the ground. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Bend the knees if you need to, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the spine. Exhale, hands down, feet step back. Find your plank and exhale through your vinyasa. Upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. From this downward dog, let's just lower down to our hands and knees. And from there, we'll start to walk our knees forward towards our hands. And then flip over the knees. So we're coming down to a seat at the front of your mat. This is where you might want to grab your 2 blocks or 2 pillows. If you know you might need some hip support, if you are tighter on the hips, you can have those handy. Otherwise, we're gonna move into a Baddha Konasana stretch. So from just a nice seated position, let's find our sit bones firmly rooting into the ground. And start to open these knees. So you bring the soles of the feet together. And then let the knees just gently fall out like we're opening a book. It's 2 ends of a book here. You can play around. I invite you to slide the heels in or out slightly and feel where you feel the most activation in your outer hips. For some of us, it's a little bit of a bigger shape. For some of us, it's more of a tighter shape. So just feeling where we do feel a nice activation, finding that balance between stretch and strength. Bring your hands to your feet and inhale, really lifting through the spine. Exhale, starting to dive forward. So as your heart comes forward, think about folding not towards your toes, but past your toes, as if you can extend the heart and the spine forward, forward, forward as the hips get heavy. As you come down, feel free to bring the forearms to the mat. Feel free to bring your chin and your forehead down towards the toes if that feels right for you. But you can also pause anywhere along the way. So here, just breathing into really this sense of abundance that is created anytime we find ourselves in a new shape. A moment to really feel all of the pieces of your body that are working together to hold you here, and all of the subtle areas opening up each time you bring that breath in and let that breath go. Inhale slowly to rise up out of your Baddha Konasana fold. Use your hands to support the outer knees and bring them back in. From here, if you've got a little space behind you, just leaning back on your hands and giving the knees a little windshield wiper to each side. So just dropping them to the right, rolling through center, coming to the other side. Just do this a few times. I invite you to move really slow. So if you find yourself wanting to just swish through it, slow the movement down. Come back to the breath, slow that down. Finding our mantra, I am at home in my body. Coming back to center, let's walk forward and begin to roll ourselves down onto our back. We won't be doing anything too tricky once we come here, so no problem if you don't have the best view of the camera. We're gonna roll all the way down to our spine, but keep our feet grounded onto the mat and keep our knees bent. We're coming into a few rounds of bridge pose here. So first, I'd like to take an inhale and just start to walk your shoulder blades down, back. Just a subtle little adjustment you can do to really ground those shoulder blades down. And you may find that the hands naturally roll open towards the sky. And that's beautiful. Keeping our feet parallel. Let's inhale, press into all four corners of the feet. Start to lift the hips up. And exhale, we'll just slowly come back down, doing that a few times. Inhale, lifting up, letting the hips lead the way. So hip flexors open to the sky. Exhale, slowly lower them down. 2 more times. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, rolling down. Inhale, rolling up. This time, let's hold there. So from here, you may want to flip the palms of your hand down to the mat. Press in towards the mat with the backs of your shoulders, with the bases of your hands and your fingertips, through all four corners of those feet, and see if you can lift those hips a little higher, not only from the front of your hips, but from that low back root chakra, supporting you with that stability here. Find a big breath into the front channel of the body, belly, ribs, and chest. And exhale, slowly roll the hips down. Coming into a gentle twist. Let's bring the knees in towards the chest. Just give yourself a nice little hug here. Even in this gentle pose, we can find our low back, our root chakra, grounding into the floor. Moving into our twist to wring that all out. Let's start to extend the left leg straight down on the floor. Open up your right arm wide to the side, just straight out to the right. Take an inhale. And with your left hand, we're going to lead the right knee across the body. So finding this nice little twist with this right knee coming across, right shoulder blade, trying to stay planted as much as you can, but just taking this passively. Let your knee fall where it is. It's not important that it reaches the ground today. Big breath here in through our nose, out through the mouth. One more, just like that on your own. Deep, slow inhale. Mouth wide, exhale. Let it make a sound. Let it go. Slowly inhaling, you can use your hand to support the knee back to center. Give it one last hug in towards the chest. And then switching sides, just bring both knees into the chest for that little hug. Right leg extends straight and down into the ground. Left arm opens wide out to the left. Inhale and exhale. Drag that top knee across the body to wherever is a comfortable place for you to stay today. And finding that sweet spot where you don't need to strain or grind your teeth to be there, but rather you can breathe into wherever you are. And find those subtle openings, those little releases with each breath. All of these channels opening up in the body, creating more space to receive that abundance that's flowing through life. Inhale, coming back to center, nice and slow. Hugging left knee in, bringing both knees in for one last little hug. And as you hug the knees in, let's just roll some gentle rocks side to side on the low back. Even as we release into our Shavasana, releasing the knees, sliding the legs out, starting to open the arms and legs wide. Let yourself take up space, be abundant. And closing the eyes for a final moment of silence. And here, even as we release, can still tune into that Muladhara, that root chakra. Really letting your body be as heavy as possible. Let it go. Let all of the weight of your bones and muscles and tissues, thoughts and feelings, let all of that be held by the stability that's beneath you. This is that final moment of tuning into that sense of trust, stability, foundation. I am at home in my body. My body is my home. Slowly bringing one hand to your belly and one hand towards your chest. Take 3 breaths here. As you inhale, feel the belly rise, then the chest rise. Really try to fill up into your hands. Exhale, belly softens, heart softens. Inhaling an abundant breath, belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling just as much space, let it all out. Drop that breath into the earth. And taking one last breath at your own pace. Releasing your hands from the body if you haven't already. Letting them go to your sides. And just very slowly starting to wiggle fingertips and toes. Waking up from the Shavasana, bending your knees and just rolling off to one side, whichever is comfortable. We'll close by just stacking the hands into the earth, starting to sit up to a comfortable seat. Take your time. As you arrive, just close the eyes, sitting up nice and tall and letting your base, your root, that lower body sink into the earth as the chest and the spine rise up. Taking one last breath, one hand to belly, one hand to heart. Inhale a big, slow, beautiful breath, filling up the whole front cavity. As you exhale, drop your chin towards your chest, your head towards your heart. Thank yourself for carving out this time to tap into this abundance and this sense of trust that's always accessible within us. Thank you so much for practicing. Namaste. All right, thank you all for being here. Once again, my name's Ashleigh. Enjoy the rest of your April challenge if you're here with us for that. Otherwise, feel free to check out our other classes. We've got a lot of great things going on. And we do have one more short end of class survey that I'll pop on here if you do have time to fill that out for us as well. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, have a beautiful rest of your evening. Thank you, everybody.